So excited. We're going to be talking today about action takers who get shit done, man. This book was a long time in the making. I'm so excited to be speaking to the authors of this book. We're on our launch day today. And so you go ahead and get a copy of the book at Action Takers I was going to say Action Takers Who Get Shit Done. Go to actiontakerspublishing.com/GSD, which stands for Get Shit Done. And, this book has been awesome, putting it together and finding out how different people use different tools, techniques, tips, to get shit done in their own lives and or their business. We're going to bring up our guest today is Elvira DiBrigit. And Elvira, first of all, I got to know, what made you decide to join this book?
Well, it's been a struggle of mine, but my friends often say, how do you get so much done? And so I love that title, and I thought, I have something to share.
Awesome. I love that you did, because, a lot of people are kind of put off by the title of it. And so they call it different things, Action Takers GSD, or Get Shiz Done, or Get It Done, and, name it, whatever, get stuff done. And it doesn't matter. The bottom line is that you're accomplishing things in life. And there's so many times where we experience different thoughts about, actually taking that action to make things happen. And it can get scary. And I know your chapter, it's titled Procrastinator's Recovery, which I love this, because how many of us are procrastinators? I still procrastinate, but I still get a lot done, but I still have that procrastination tendency. So I would love for you to speak on that. First of all, the title, A Procrastinator's Recovery, what does that mean? And, share with us, how can we step out of that procrastination to actually move forward and get shit done in our own lives and our business?
Yes, well, it's been an ongoing exploration for me. I always have this big list of things that I want to do. And then I notice that I often, I put things off, even though it's like an anxiety type thing that I do. And then I let it build up, and then I'll, go out and finally do it. For instance, getting ready for this interview, I knew okay, I gotta just get dressed and get ready. And I sort of put it off a little bit. So I'm getting a lot better with it, and recently have really zeroed in on these 9 saboteur voices in our head that I learned about from Shirzad Shamin's book, Positive Intelligence. And so that's where I've been in the last year, really focusing in on how does that procrastination affect my overall anxiety. And I've gotten a lot better with some tips on how to deal with it.
Awesome. You want to share one of those with us right now?
Sure. Just recognizing it is the first step, and hearing that little voice that, is oh, you can put that off, or oh, you should do this first. And so recognizing that and saying, no, that's a lie, because the lie of the procrastinator is that, you can do something, there's going to be something else that will make it all ease and flow. And, but actually, by putting it off, it's always the opposite.
I love that, because I always say, awareness is where we can effect change once we have that awareness. And of course, I have to sing my little ditty, because, what would me doing an interview without singing my little awareness ditty when it comes up? Okay, ready? Here goes. I have awareness now. I have awareness. How now, brown cow? I have awareness. Now. It's time for me to move on like Donkey Kong. And that's why.
Oh, that's great.
I made up that little ditty, and it's funny because I accidentally, I was doing an interview, and it just came out of my mouth one day, and my husband heard me. He was in the other room, and he heard me, and probably the next day, or day or two, or what have you, he something came up with the word awareness, and he goes, I have awareness. So he started singing my ditty, and I was like, oh my God, maybe it's a little catchy tune. I gotta do it. So anyway, yes. I did it. I got shit done. And so yeah, that awareness piece, this is such a huge thing. And how do you, because I know how I discover that awareness. How do you discover that you're having an awareness about something that's going on? Procrastinating, I'm procrastinating. How do you know that you're procrastinating?
I'll start to feel a little anxiety in my body, a tightness. So just being aware in my body, and I'll start moving around too fast, trying to like, oh, okay, let me just do this real fast, you know, and get something else done before I go to that other thing, like the laundry, you know, just like do that real fast. So those are some ways that I know, but also I really have made a habit of checking in with myself. So that's how I can notice my body and notice these thoughts, is taking little mindfulness breaks in the day to really check in.
Ooh, that's good. A mindfulness break. This is something you mentioned earlier, something about, I think it was, you said making a list, like, this is my list for today. Like, I know exactly what I'm doing. I have it all timed out. I used to do it all on my phone or my computer, and it works great, but not as good as me having a physical list, because I love to mark it off, be like, I'm done with that, and that in that mind, the reason I mention that is because I do have mindfulness times in the day, like, for example, taking a 20-minute nap. And that's really just about being aware that I need a break throughout the day to be able to regroup, to rest my body, to rest my mind, to just, maybe I don't actually fall asleep, but it's really about taking that time out to be with myself, right? And it's you mentioned the body, like feeling it in your body. What does that feel like? And the reason I'm asking this question is because I was never a kind of person who, like what you said, checking in. I never liked to, or you didn't say I never liked to, I just didn't know about like checking in with my body. And so what does that look like for you? How do you know? Is it on a schedule? Do you have like, oh, you know what? I need to check in right now? Or like, how does it that you know what that check-in time is?
So I've done all kinds of different things over my life, and definitely found that the morning time check-in is key to starting my day that way. It's like charging up my phone battery. I have to like just check in for a little bit in the morning, and sometimes that's like a little walk in my yard and really paying attention to what I'm seeing there, not thinking about anything else. But most often it's sitting in meditation in the morning. And then I do have reminders on my phone that pop up. I'm using this Positive Intelligence app for the last 6 months, and that is really great for helping me to remember to check in, and it gives me a little focus of the day too. So,
do you know the name of that Positive Intelligence app off the top of your head?
Yeah, if you go to positiveintelligence.com, there's all kinds of information there.
Okay, cool. Positiveintelligence.com. Check it out over there. And today, though, we're talking about this book, Action Takers Who Get Shit Done. And, this book came about because, Action Takers Publishing, we're all about taking action, because without action, nothing happens. We can hope, dream, pray, desire, manifest, think about, want, all these things in life. But if it's staring us right in the face and we don't take action, nothing is going to happen. So we reached out to people in our community and said, hey, you're an action taker. I see the progress that you're making. We would love for you to share some tools, tips, techniques, that our readers can take away from, while reading this book. And so excited about it, because the intention of this book is that after you read each chapter, you will walk away with something that you can use in order to move forward. And so if you're a person who is a procrastinator and you recognize that, hey, I'm a procrastinator, I know I do this. Sometimes having that awareness, as Elvira was mentioning, having that awareness that like I'm procrastinating and knowing why you're procrastinating, is going to help you through that. So what are some of the techniques that you share with people, Elvira, about procrastination?
I know. Yeah. So what has really helped me in this last year is there's these different powers, sage powers that I've learned about. And so, for instance, one of them would be to empathize with myself. Another one would be to explore, like, well, why am I feeling anxiety about this? Why am I putting this off? A lot of times there's some good information in there, and I can also try to think into the future. Okay, like 20 years from now, how is it going to feel if I don't take this action, or if I do take this action? Just kind of looking at my life from a wiser, elder self, and that's called the Navigate game, and that has helped me a lot also. So there's 3 examples.
I love that, the Navigate game. That's good. There's one thing that I think a lot of people believe this about themselves, and I'm speaking of my past self, my younger self, is that I always used to say, I work best under pressure. So I would put things off because I work best under pressure. And the reality is that I don't really work best under pressure. It's just I have to turn up the volume when I'm under pressure because I'm under pressure. And what I do now, I moved into a different space with that, is that I give myself, I like to finish things, a day or two early, as opposed to like I was before, because now it gives me opportunities to tweak things, to change it up if I thought of something, after I finish. So really moving into that space of, I don't work best under pressure. It's just I work well under pressure. But, like you mentioned, having that awareness really is a big piece right there. So we're coming to the end of the interview. Oh, go ahead, please.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think I talked in my chapter about how our whole culture as a whole is, really driven on this like high achiever, like intensity that we have to recognize is not everyone's normal, and that we can look at a balance in life, and that'll help us a lot with what we can achieve and making it a healthy goal.
Definitely. Comparison, what do they say? Comparison is the thief of joy. When we start comparing ourselves to others, thinking that we have to do as much as they are, then that's not good. It's really about this action takers who get shit done isn't about getting a whole bunch of stuff done. It's about actually accomplishing things. That could be something that, for example, I was talking to a woman yesterday. She started writing her book over 20 years ago. So there's some procrastination that's going on there, 20 years. And so like her work with us is to have her to finish it, right? That's what the getting it done, piece is there. So I'd love for you to share this, because we are like on the very last minutes here. First of all, you can connect with Elvira at heroinejourneyguide.com. So Elvira, why don't you share with our audience, like, what is the one thing you would like them to be able to take away, from reading this book, Action Takers Who Get Shit Done?
Well, I think it's important that everyone recognize that it's not just about, getting a lot done and ticking off your list, but it's about habit formation. And so we can have good ideas like how to organize our calendar and all these things, but it's really about building in a daily habit of how we approach getting things done.
I love that. Yeah, so good. Yeah, it's just like having that realization, it's such an important piece. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in for this interview or talking about the book, Action Takers Who Get Shit Done. You can get your copy of the book. It's on Kindle. It's on print version at actiontakerspublishing.com/GSD. Just go there and get not only the book, but get free gifts. A lot of our authors have given away free gifts, and you can cash in on those free gifts over there. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all later. Please go get your copy. It's only $1.99 on Kindle, and look forward to seeing what this book does to help you to get shit done in your own life and your business. Thank you so much for tuning in.